Hello and welcome to ACS Golf and this week's review where I'm looking at a fairway wood from a brand that I personally love. They stopped producing golf clubs in 2016, but I think the stuff near the end was really quite good and fun. And that's the main thing about golf is, to go out there and have fun. These clubs were slightly different. They looked different. The color scheme was crazy. They were just fun and they performed well. So the review today is this. It's the Nike Vaporfly fairway wood from 2016. So the last set of golf clubs the Nike made before they pulled the plug saying, we can't afford to be doing this anymore. We're not making enough money, which I think was a huge shame because they were there. They were right up the top at the time when they pulled the plug. Maybe not quite with the putters, but everything else was there. The irons were good. The woods were good. They were there. And they're winning stuff on tour as well. And they pulled the plug, which is a real shame. If I could bring back any brand out of all the ones that have closed over the years, definitely would be Nike for me because that's right up my street, that sort of colour scheme there. So the reason I picked this up is number one, obviously nostalgia. I love nightclubs. I love doing reviews for the channel of nightclubs. I've got loads more nightclubs actually to do over the next couple of months. So do, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon so you do not miss out on any of them. But the idea is to see if this is still any good, because when this did come out in 2016, it was a very solid fairway wood, good distance, good numbers, good forgiveness, etc. It performed well. It was in a lot of tour players' bags, and a lot of amateur golfers played it as well, which you can tell because, when you find these on the, market nowadays, they are old, obviously nearly getting 10 years old next year. They will be 10 years old. They are battered. They have been used. It's quite hard to find one in a really good shape because lots of people have used them and enjoyed them. So going to see if that is still the case. If you find a decent one on the second-hand market, you should be picking it up, or if potentially you should be going, actually, hold on, maybe I need to go for a newer model because I need to improve my game. I don't think this is the club for it. So we're going to discuss that at the end of the video and do our normal review to see if it is still a good club. So as always, what we're going to do is we're going to have a closer look at this club. Then we're going to come back here, go for all the technology that is in it. Then we're going to get down to a range. We're going to throw some figures at you from this 5-wood. Unfortunately, it was a little bit windy, so the numbers have been affected a little bit, but obviously we'll discuss that when we come back here and go for the ACS golf scale and my overall thoughts about this absolute stunning beauty of a 5-wood. All right, guys, now let's have a closer look at this cup. So there you go. And it is a beauty. I'm sorry. I know a lot of you guys will be watching this going, oh, why? It's blue. It's got a yellowy bottom. Like, what are you on about? This thing looks horrible. I think this thing looks gorgeous. I'm a big fan of big colours, loud colours and golf clubs. I really am. I don't like that dull look of everything's black and everything's a bit... All right, I'm wearing a black cap. I have just realised that. Yes, I am wearing a black cap, but I like a bit of colour in it. So yeah, so I thought these things are absolutely stunning, really stunning. I'm not going to lie, I've actually got this in a regular shaft. If I had I will discuss later, I had a little bit of difficulty with it because my swing speed has gone up. If I had this in a stiff, I'd probably play this because I think it's beautiful. I probably wouldn't play it because I think it's beautiful. Actually, I'd probably probably keep it and not actually play it better. It is a great club. Look at that. Stunning. Now, let's go through the technology that is in this club. So, you had a flexi loft fairway that offers a unique ability to adjust loft and lie angle independently, offering 6 individual settings. So, in this case, I actually had a tenside blue here, 65 reg flex. So, as you see there was an adjustability there. So, you could standardly put it up by 1 degree. So this is a 19 degree. I could put it up to 20 degrees, or I could drop it down to 18 degrees, or you could do the same, but changing it to more upright to basically help with that slice. So did have adjustability there, which is always a good thing when it comes down to golf clubs. We also had a new Hyperflight face. And there you go, for extreme ball speed across the entire surface. Can't complain about that. It's exactly what you want to see. Re-engineering compression channel. Here you go. Amplifies performance on miss hits, especially on that sort of lower hit on the face, very much like your speed channel that you have in your sort of TaylorMade, your Wave something or Cortex, you know, in your what's it, Mizuno, all that sort of stuff. You know, a lot of clubs use well, if I can get my words out, a lot of clubs use very similar technology. There we go. They all call it different, obviously, because they're not copying each other. No clubs do that at all, especially not Odyssey. If you don't know what I'm on about, go and have a look at the new Odyssey putter, and then go and have a look at the lab putter. Well, anyway, moving back onto this. Athletic, authentic tour shape for forgiveness and workability. You know, it is definitely a very tour-inspired shape, this. It's not big for a fairway wood, you know, it's a good, decent size. It's not big and chunky, which I like. I prefer a little bit more of a smaller fairway wood. Obviously, this is a 5-wood, so it's going to be a little bit smaller than a 3-wood anyway, but I like that more compact look personally. And you've got the covert cavity back design. There you go. That spreads weight to the heel and toe for maximum forgiveness. You know, the idea is you have that cavity back there. Basically, similar to what they have now, but the idea is, you know, they haven't hidden it by putting another sort of shell on the bottom of it. You know, they've moved the weight around here, and you can see where they've moved it to aid that forgiveness. And they've got fly beam structure, which is this, which stabilizes the body and channels more energy into the face. So all good bits of technology there, you know, and that's what I liked about these clubs, is you could see them on the bottom. We all started with, I think this was this. I know, yeah, no, this is the Covert 2.0. So you all sort of started with the Covert and then went to the Covert 2.0. I can show you all the clubs now. Then went to the Vapor Speed. And then to the Vapor Fly. There you go. See, and I got all them to review for the channel, so remember to subscribe. Anyway, so there you go. There's all the technology that's in this club. Now let's get down to the range, going to throw some figures at you, and then we're going to come back here for the ACS Golf Scale. All right, see you in a bit. I'm down at the range with a 5-wood, annoyingly into a little bit of a breeze. And one thing I'll definitely say as well, I was definitely swinging far too fast for this regular shaft because everything was high and right. But anyway, let's get into those figures. So on average, I had a carry of 204 yards, total distance of 209 yards, a ball speed of 144 miles per hour. Quite impressed by that. Launch angle 10 degrees and height 98 feet. So as you'd expect from a 5-wood, this thing got popped up into the air. Lovely, and unfortunately, as I mentioned, did get held up by the wind. Now, longest on the day was 212, so 212 yards carry and 218 yards total distance, and a whopping ball speed of 148 miles per hour. Really, really happy with that. While the shortest was only 196 yards carry and only 198 yards total distance. It's got held up in the wind there. Great stopping distance if I want to hit it on the green, but yeah, definitely did lose a bit of distance because of it. However, you know, this thing clearly does have some distance in it. You know, that was ball speed there. I was really quite impressed with it. It was easy to hit, easy to get up in the air, exactly what I wanted. As I mentioned, yes, the shaft definitely was a little bit too flexible for me, but overall really good. And here are those numbers in a table for you. As you can see there, launch, happy with that, 10 degrees. You know, peak height as well, it was getting up in the air. You know, ball speed really impressive. And that longest, yes, the wind definitely affected it. I definitely think, you know, without that wind, would have got sort of 230, maybe even close to 240 with this club. I think maybe 230, 240 might be pushing a little bit, but overall really pleased with it, and it felt good. It was fun to hit. Great look behind the ball as well. Overall, a very solid performance from this club. So there you go. Not bad distance at all. Hitting it into the wind there, you know, to come out with those averages and the longest, not bad at all. One thing that really did impress me though was the ball speed, 144 miles per hour on average and topping out 148. That's really not bad. That's some really good figures for a 5-wood. I know I am swinging quicker, but still that is solid figures. I'd expect that from modern day stuff. So really pleased with that. Maybe not your low spin modern day, maybe low spin, maybe a little bit faster, but generally your stock sort of fairway woods, I would expect that. So really, really pleased with it. Now let's get into the ACS Golf Scales. Remember, we've got 5 categories: distance, feel, looks, price, and forgiveness. 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. Now for distance for me, I'm giving it 3.5 out of 5. I definitely think it has really good distance in it. I definitely think it's not going to, it's definitely going to match your sort of more core sort of clubs out there. definitely on the, you know, on the current market. Do I think it's going to be as long as your brand new TaylorMade or your Sim TaylorMades, for example, which are just rockets, even the core versions? Probably not. So that's why I'm giving it 3.5. I definitely think it's got solid distance in it, but it's not going to be the longest out there. But then, is that the end of the world? You know, your fairway wood, you want it for gapping. And maybe if I got another shaft in it, on another day I would have given it a 4 out of 5, which is the same as sort of your TaylorMade that I sort of QI10 I think I reviewed recently. It was the same with the QI10. So it's definitely not far off it. I think on another day I probably maybe would have put it in the 4. So let's just say 3.5/4. Definitely plenty of distance and definitely will stay up with majority of the clubs from nowadays. Because fairway woods really haven't changed from over the years. You can't change that much of a club. So there you go. But yeah, so distance, I'm really happy with that, to be honest. 3.5 out of 5 is definitely long enough for me to put in my bag and be really happy with the number. So yeah, there you go. Anything under 2.5 is when you've got to start to worry, by the way, on my ACS golf scale. Anything above that, good. Feel wise, 3.5 for feel. Not the most responsive feel I've ever tried. It's not like sort of your Titleist's, your new Titleist's anyway, your TaylorMade, everything like that. Solid feel, quite powerful, springing off the face. I mean, when you whacked it, you knew you whacked it, which was really good. Off-centered hits, not a huge amount of feedback, but it, you know, felt nice. It was fun to hit. So yeah, 3.5 out of 5. Looks now, I'm giving it 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5. I love it. I know a lot of you will be watching going, no, Adam, no, why have you done this? But no, 5 out of 5 for me. And the head cover's brilliant as well. But the likelihood of getting a good head cover now in good condition is slim because these things have been used. Moving on to forgiveness before we get on to price. Forgiveness, I'm giving it 3.5 out of 5. I think it's got good forgiveness. I mean, the drop down on average, 144, and a really bad hit there is 139, still went 201 in the wind. So a little bit of a drop off there. I believe that, no, sorry. That was as slow as ball speed, sorry, 139. The actual shortest was 198, but that one I feel like definitely got caught in the wind because that ball speed was 142. So yeah, 139 drop off for ball speed, not the end of the world. But if you're looking for big, forgiving fairway woods, this isn't it. It is more for that workability. Still, I think your average player can use it, definitely, but just be aware, 3.5 out of 5, really decent forgiveness for a fairway wood, but it's not going to be your maximum forgiving one. If you want something like that, get a maximum forgiving one, get ping. There you go. That's a good example of that. But yeah, definitely plenty enough forgiveness for your average golfer at 3.5. Now on to price. Now price for me is a little bit of a, I'm giving it a 3 out of 5, and there's a reason I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. Golf Bidder, so second-hand market over here in the UK, I've seen them for £83, around $107. Golf clubs for cash, I've seen one go for £130, which is around $170. You know, if you find one in really good condition, they are expensive. The Golf Bidder one was bashed. You know, it's really not in a good shape. I mean, this one's in a pretty good shape, to be fair. Because a lot of people are using them because they are decent clubs. You know, a telltale sign if a club isn't that good or has never been that good is if it's flooding the second-hand market and it's barely been used. Always a telltale sign that, especially something new. If there's a new club that's come out and then suddenly it's just flooded on the second-hand market, everyone's trying to buy it. You know, it's, well, not everyone's trying to buy it, sorry, everyone's trying to get rid of it. You know, it's not a good club. Potentially, it's not working for a lot of people. This, they're well used, which shows it is a good, solid club. Always just a good thing to look out for. You know, suddenly if you're looking and go, oh, the brand new Friction driver's on there. New Friction driver, new Friction driver, new Friction driver. Maybe not the Friction driver, actually, because a lot of people don't buy them, even though they're really good. But I don't know, say the new TaylorMade one, suddenly just flooded with QI35s a couple of months after the thing's been released. You go, hold on, it doesn't seem to be working that well. But yeah, with this, really battered, so it has been used a lot. And then eBay ranges from sort of £91, sort of all the way up again to 150. So you're talking about $118 all the way up to just under $200. I think if you can find this in good condition for £90 or £80, I think it's a bargain. It's definitely worth it. You're going to get good enough performance for it. If you're looking over the £100 mark, £120 mark, I feel like you're getting it because of what it is. It's a Nike Vaporfly. It's blue. They don't make them anymore. You know, it's a good condition. You're getting it for what it is rather than what it can do. So do be aware of that. So that's why I've given it a 3 out of 5. You can get it under £100, so under what, $130, something like that. Great. Anything above that, you're just buying it for what it is. And then you look at it, you know. So if you're looking at sort of golf bidder, for example, you're looking at £130. So underneath that, you've got Callaway Epic Speed, which is what, like 2021, I think. You know, Cobra Speed Zone, TaylorMade M4, TaylorMade M6, you know, Titleist TSI range, Titleist TS range. There's a lot of really, 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 really good options out there for that price point if you're looking over that £100 mark, which in my mind will perform exactly the same as this, probably maybe even a little bit better. And because it's newer, will be less battered. So there you go. So yeah, 3 out of 5 for me when it comes down to price. I think if you get it for the price is right, it's definitely worth it. But do be aware, yeah, eBay price under £100. You know, that's where that 3 comes from really. And even, you know, yeah, 3 out of 5. I'm going to go 3 out of 5. But yeah, just be aware, you know, if you're going over £100, going $130, you're buying it for the fact it's a Nike Vaporfly. You're not buying it for basically its performance, because there's a lot of other stuff out there, newer, that you can get that will perform just as good or even better than this. Most likely probably better, if I'm being brutally honest. But yeah, so there you go. There's my review of the Nike Vaporfly Fairwood. I keep on want to say Nike Vaporfly Pro. Nike Vaporfly Pro? But that's the irons that I played like a year ago. Keep on saying it. But anyway, Nike Vaporfly fairway wood. Overall, really solid fairway wood. Really good numbers distance-wise. Ample forgiveness. Feels relatively good enough and looks amazing. If you pick one up for the right price, give it a go, because it could be the club that you have that will stay in your bag for ages, as it appears it has done for a lot of people. So there you go. Great club. Definitely worth a go for the price is right. But as mentioned, plenty of other options out there for the similar price that could possibly perform better for you. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, remember to give it a like. Do subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. You know, you've got lots of great videos coming out, lots of great reviews. All this stuff behind me will be reviewed at some point, and all that as well. So lots and lots of stuff coming up, and extra videos in there, versus videos, etc. as well. And do comment down below, you know, do you play, well, have you played Nike Vaporfly clubs before? If you have, are they still in the bag? Because, you know, a lot of people don't take them out, and that's why when they do, and they do finally replace them, they are destroyed because they've been used so much. Anyway, guys, again, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you soon for the next ACS Golf Review. See you then. Bye-bye.